10, 20 years ago.
You would be surprised at what they wanted to do. Electronic, whatever, it's a cigarette.
That are in the later stage.
All right, we have one more presenter before lunch, and her name is Genine Perez. She is the Tobacco Control Youth Board coordinator. She has a statewide program and focuses on youth extinguishing smoking. And she has been an active part in tobacco control for a long, long time, but she's not aged at all since she started. And she's very passionate about what she does. And we really enjoy having her work with the youth in our state that are advocates for tobacco control. So as soon as she is mic'd up here. And dressed. All right. So this is Miss Genine Perez.
If you know, don't worry about it. I'm good. That way I won't be quitting. That way I'll hold everybody to the 2:20 mark so everybody can go to lunch. Good afternoon. I feel short now that I'm behind this. Can you see me now? So I'm going to talk about youth. I do appreciate the being asked to, share what I do as it relates to the youth in Arkansas. The last speaker talked about prevention, young people, and education, and that all encompasses what I do with the youth. So since I don't have a PowerPoint, since I'm not doing anything, I guess I'll come out here. If that's not going to interfere, I guess since I'm mic'd up. So I work for the Family Service Agency over in North Little Rock. They do a myriad of things. I work in the prevention arm with the Arkansas Youth Leadership Initiative, and it is designed to build youth leaders across the state. Several years ago, I worked with Arkansas for Drug for Youth, and the task was from the Department of Health to create some sort of youth leadership board that would focus specifically on tobacco and be unique to Arkansas. And so that's where I am with tobacco and Arkansas, and it's transcended over time. So many things have changed because each year I get to work with different youth that come to the table and present their ideas. And I tell them, although I am the statewide program coordinator for this program, I'm really just a secretary. I'm a secretary to however many youth that I get to work with that year on the leadership board. What is the YES team? The YES team, they created a grassroots movement of their own. So this youth leadership initiative, it's nice if I have a visual. So as soon as you get that, I'll pop it in. So work with my arms here. I've got this big umbrella called the Arkansas Youth Leadership Initiative, and we needed to be able to reach all of the youth across the state of Arkansas. However, by any means necessary, peer-to-peer, whatever you have you. So what do you do, youth? How am I going to do that? We came up with this thing called the YES team, which stands for Youth Extinguishing Smoking. Of course, tobacco products of any kind, but Youth Extinguishing Smoking called YES. And the reason we said yes, because the kids told me they're getting tired of being told no. So instead of saying no, they came up with a unique acronym called YES, stands for Youth Extinguishing Smoking. And it's the YES team. And those are youth, if they can talk about tobacco, if they can point out a cigarette butt, if they know that secondhand smoke kills, meaning it's blowing in their face and they don't like it and it's making them cough, then they can sign up for the YES team, totally free. All they're doing is pledging to be tobacco free. That's the YES team under the Arkansas Youth Leadership Initiative. But before we get to the YES team, there's got to be an entity that controls that, and that's our Tobacco Control Youth Board. Those are those people that I told you that I work for, those youth that are selected and appointed or chosen to represent different entities across the state of Arkansas that come to the table and come up with all kinds of, put that in and I'll guide you to it, come up with all kinds of different things to do in the way of tobacco prevention. Then we have an entity called Team Yes Speaks. Well, obviously, if I have a board of 25, I can't take all 25 with me, especially during the school day. because most of the action takes place at the Capitol during the school hours. So I have a unique little group called Team Yes Speaks, and those are our members that serve on our Speakers Bureau. So we've got the Arkansas Youth Leadership Initiative, all the youth across the state, dedicated to tobacco prevention, pledging to be tobacco free. We have a leadership board called the Tobacco Control Youth Board, and then we have that grassroots, that's good, right there, click it. Don't worry about the date. Do this everywhere. Okay, yeah, we're almost there. And then I'll really speed through all 33 slides. Big personality, big fro, a lot of slides. I mean, what? I am not going to fight with the weather today. But this is, and I like this, just stay right there. You blow it up, get that little house right over here, that little sign right there. Can you see it? See, push it. Right there, that right there. Click that right there. See that orange? Yeah, can you figure out how to get over there? It's way over there. Come down. Here, let me do this.
You see the icon? I can't see that.
Yeah, I got you. Move, move, move. I mean, I ain't trying to get all in your business. But I am almost there. And for those of you on the other side, y'all can guide us, sister. Help me out. I'm close.
A little to the right. Go on. Down. One more. A little to the right.
Right there?
More. 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 Now go.
I think I turned. Okay, there we go. Woo! Amen. God is good. Teamwork. Who did that?
Everybody.
I got a prize for you afterwards. Okay. All right. So just a whole bunch of pictures. Speed through, speed through, speed through. Catch me up. Tobacco Control Youth Board. Woo! Next picture. Oh, Team Yes Speaks. All right. Yeah, stop right there. Okay. And then we have this other group, which is funny. You know, I've been doing this since forever, like Debbie said. And what I realized is that eventually these kids are going to grow up. And they're going to get outside the box, which is great. That's fine. I mean, I'm going to stay stagnant. I'm going to be right here, so I'm never going to age. Amen. I like that. But they're going to grow up. They're going to have families of their own. They're going to go off to college. They're going to get married. They're going to do everything. And something wonderful happens. They decided they wanted to come back and give back. This young lady that I'm pictured up here at the top, she was in the 7th grade when she initially started the program, helped come up with the name, the whole 9 yards, what we're going to do, you know. She's teaching up at U of A at Fayetteville. Her name is Lizette, and she comes back to give. And we created this thing called Yes Ya. Yes Youth Advisor is what it is. And of course, they want to help the younger people in tobacco prevention, and so that they can guide them on the way. Next slide. Youth engagement. This is what I think about youth. And I say you, and I've got YOU because I actually target this towards youth. Because I don't like talking to adults, because adults, and you know I've said this before if you've heard me say, the adults kind of scare me. And it's easier to work with youth because they think outside the box and they're not stagnant. And when you ask the questions about what the church people are going to do and if they don't do it, yeah, you got to think outside the box because they may not. So it's a perfect place. Youth education, prevention, to start with that younger base to educate them, think about prevention. So don't worry about those adults, folks, that are set in their ways. We'll get to them later. So I think youth are the key because they're advocates for change, policy change. They make things happen. Young people have powerful voices. They're creative. They're concerned. They're energetic. You can I fly through it, okay? And they're connected. Youth can get the word out faster than you can, okay? You're going to tell 2 or 3 of your friends, but they're going to tell all their friends because they're going to use social media in that aspect. And youth also know that they're the target. They are it. Big Tobacco, in this instance, they're targeting them. And if I start thinking about all of the things or the visuals that youth see on TV and all that they're exposed to, sometimes I think that they live a little bit on the edge as well. So that preventive measures in any area that you want to discuss with them is perfect for them. But I'm about what and who is Big Tobacco. Big Tobacco targets them because their audience, their clientele is eventually going to die from tobacco use. They're going to run out of people that are already using because, you know, it's just a fact of life. So they need to hook those younger users. How do they hook them? Which way? How do they do that? Do you know? You can talk to me. What? Commercials? What kind of commercials, though? Because see, back in a few years back, they were forbidden. I mean, that was a regulation. They can't do that. They can't advertise on commercials. But somehow they're infiltrating into that system. Do you know what kind of commercials I'm talking about? Yes, sir.
Product placement in movies.
Oh, definitely. Product placement in movies is a big deal. But I'm going back, definitely. You know, commercials you're talking about?
No, commercials.
Something's blue. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that's just like a cigarette. I mean, that's just like a cigarette ad. I know it's electronic. Whatever, it's a cigarette to me. Okay, it's got nicotine in it. It's going to get somebody hooked, and somebody's going to be addicted. Somebody's going to die. I'm just saying. I don't know. Who am I? Are we sure it's true, and how do we know? Let's check the facts. Big Tobacco spends $107.4 million in the state of Arkansas on marketing. They're marketing to our kids. In Arkansas, 7.2 million packs, you're moving too fast now, of cigarettes were bought or smoked by kids just last year. And every year, 3,200 Arkansas kids under the age of 18 become new daily smokers. They're using, and when they get into the habit, okay, that's a gateway drug, y'all know that, right? So let me take a little puff, let me do some other stuff. I mean, that's just the way it kind of goes. Do you need more proof? Let's go to the next slide. Camel, you know them. Even the little babies know them still. And there's not that much advertising out there, you would think, on TV maybe, but it's out there. Camel's share of the youth market increased from 2.5 to 14 after they introduced the cartoon character, Joe Camel. Their share of the adult market did not change as a result of the Joe Camel. So that means clearly they were marketing to youth. More proof. Let's really pretty, all those beautiful colors. We're talking about tobacco, y'all, right? Yeah. Keep it going. Oops. Sweetened, one of the Big Tobacco's latest and most shocking attempts to addict, of course, candy-flavored products. I don't know for those of you who may use tobacco in the room because there is a possibility. I mean, are you just getting attracted to the strawberry, delicious, yummy pina colada flavors of your tobacco products? I don't know. Hold your responses. I don't. I'm just saying. Keep it going. I mean, all that colorful stuff. I mean, it just attracts you. You don't care, right? Because you want to see that blue tip at the end or that pink or that. Gotcha. Keep it going. Grape, watermelon. Woo! Baby, I got it going on. Banana. I don't know. These are some of the documents. See, the tobacco industry told on itself because they definitely document very well. So we know that they target kids. The retailers, let me read this part. The retailers all agree that the majority of this product is being used by young kids and young adults. The age of the kids is from 9 years old and up. And then I say to myself, how are they getting all of these products and how are they exposed? I know they see it on TV and they see their folks, man, it's in their houses. They see mama. I know for me, when I was a young girl, staying in the house with my grandmother, and when she would turn on the TV and watch One Day, all Days of Our Lives and all that stuff, and light that cigarette, drink her coffee. I'm a coffee addict, I will admit. But when she would, she was the prettiest thing smoking. Every pun intended, all of that. The prettiest thing, and I was like, I'm gonna be like my grandmother one day, but I didn't pick up the habit because she died from pancreatic cancer. And at that time, I had no idea that it had anything to do with tobacco. But it very well did. Because up until her last days, I'm the one that was holding it in her mouth. After I would take her oxygen mask off. Because see, and I'm doing that during the summer break where everybody else is at the Boys and Girls Club, but I said, you know what? I want to be with my grandmother. I'm 12 years old. I don't want her to burn the bed sheets. I don't want her to potentially blow up the house. I'll stay with her, and that's exactly what I did. And I took the gas mask off, oxygen mask off, turned that off, lit that cigarette and held it to her mouth because she was too weak to do it on her own. But that's where now had I known what I know now, as a young person, and somebody had told me as a young person, I don't know, even though she's my best friend and I thought that, she's no longer here, but I think she would have said, okay, you can talk crazy to me if you want to, Genine. Because we got it like that. Keep going. and I just read that. I believe this to be true because outlets located close to schools, all grades, are definitely the heavier hawking outlets. What does that tell you? Specifically targeting those tobacco products to them. Again, citrus, slow down, citrus and sweet apple, Asian mint, my favorite, with buttery aftertaste. I mean, I'm just saying. And then they've got all these new flavors and new products, snus. I mean, you don't have to worry about spitting in your Dr. Pepper can, spitting in your Girl, don't look at me like that. You know that's what they do. When they put that mouth in, they chew in their mouth. That's what they do. But now they don't have to worry about that because you can keep that little tea bag. You see, when I don't even have a picture of it, I need you. Okay, partner, thank you. All right. They took that in there, stuck that down there. It's 5:20. I got to hurry up. Anyway, it's for real, okay? It's for real. There's all kinds, and they're targeting our kids. Keep going. Keep going. Y'all know what that was. All right, so we're close to the end. Amen. That was 33 slides. You wouldn't believe it. But anyway, these are some of the things we do. I go back. Yes, on the Hill. We work with our youth. We want our youth to come up with their own suggestions for laws, for policy, for policy change. What would you do if you had the opportunity to speak out, stand up, and seize control of the day? And we work with our community members, Catherine Donald from the Coalition for Arkansas, Tobacco-Free Arkansas, that lady. Anyway, she comes over, she teaches these kids all this stuff about legislative policy. I mean, it's a grueling 8 hours. But they come up with all kinds of ideas. And one of those ideas dealt with electronic cigarettes. And that was 3 years ago when we first started this thing, 3 years ago. But there were some people in the room when we went to the Capitol as they were passing their cards out that said, hey, these are the ideas that we have, and these are things that we're interested in. And 3 years later, now we have no electronic cigarettes on the campuses of public schools. And now you cannot sell electronic cigarettes in a kiosk to someone that's 18 and under. So those are good things. And not only that, because of the commitment from our State Department, Department of Health, community leaders, and Catherine Donald, we were able to be on site when legislation was going to be passed up, passed through, passed over, and those youth had the opportunity to go in and testify because they were empowered with the knowledge about the dangers of tobacco and how that harms them and how they're being targeted. And that was, and because of them, it was able to successfully go through. So, yeah, I think so. I could clap for it. I don't know. It's okay. We do art. You good. You're good. We just got some pictures on the screen, and I get to talk, and I'm almost finished. Arkansas Tobacco-Free Kids Day. After we do Yes on the Hill, and we spend all that time with the kids, great training. I mean, and it's now we have a little fun in there, but it's really working. You would be surprised how kids really want to just sit and learn. I mean, they really want to learn, and if we empower them to say that you have a voice, then they're even more excited about getting in that process. The next day, we have Arkansas Tobacco-Free Kids Day, and that was a picture you saw on the screen. Arkansas Tobacco-Free Kids Day is in conjunction with the National Kick Butts Day with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, and they get on the steps of the Capitol and they rally and they talk about how they feel about things and what they support, whether it's the stuff from with the Tobacco Prevention Cessation Program, what they want to push or what other entities want to push. But most importantly, it's they have that vehicle in which they can speak out on their own. Moving right along. Okay, who am I? Doesn't matter, I missed that slide. But the YES team is available for everyone. It's tobacco prevention at the ground level, starting at the youngest possible. You can read, great. You can't, that's fine too. Can you say that that's bad? Oh yeah. Can you promise me that you're not going to do that? I sure am going to promise that. Yes, I am going to be tobacco free. We can be found everywhere. On Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, Flickr, Instagram. They got me running mad over here with this social media. But that's where the kids are. And that's where we need to be. So even in the push with HIV and AIDS, and then the discussion on that, and tobacco and alcohol, and any of those other things, we have to meet kids where they are. We have to be where they are. And not just Tell them, don't point to them and say, you better do. You have to put back your arms and you have to say, hey, I'm embracing you. You tell me. Because they probably know better than you. Thank you very much for your time.
We have a certificate of appreciation for you.
We have a question.
And
you do?
questions.
Yes, sir. What prize are you gonna get?
No.
In a lot of countries outside the United States, we've come from Dubai, which is in the Middle East. And over there they have a policy where on the cigarette pack they put pictures.
The graphic images?
Now, it's not here. So is there something on the work maybe the Yes team can take up, like, you know, you've campaigned for, and I understand the difficulties that are involved with the big corporates that are involved in trying to prevent that from happening. But would you consider that as an option into trying to get people to stop smoking by putting images such as those?
Oh man, we're all for that. We're all for that. I mean, so that's held up on the federal level. So trust me, when the graphic images and the packages and when they started sending out all of those things, we were all for it, and we you know, it's a 100% push. But again, that's beyond Arkansas. That's on the federal level. Right. But that's something that, and I don't just work in Arkansas. In fact, I'm on a group called Youth Engagement Alliance, and I'm one of 6 coordinators across the country that handles youth prevention. And I cover the southeast region of the United States. So there are a lot, and so I get to travel and do some other things as well. But that pushes across the board. It's just held up at a level that, you know, it's just only our voices, and not just our voices, your voices then have to speak loud in that change.
It's being held up in court by the tobacco companies. They do not want it
course
on
not.
there at all. They do not want the images on there. They say that it impacts their freedom of speech, their right to advertise their product, etc. So it's something that is being pushed by the federal government to actually get done, but it's all tied up in court. And when your companies are based out of the United States, and we have the corporate laws that we do that protect corporations so well,
Right.
it really hinders us moving forward. As to where other countries who don't have those companies housed there can take greater action, or what seems to be more swift action than even the United States can take. So even with in India, they have strong laws about showing tobacco in movies, and you have to do the subtitles. Well, Woody Allen's latest movie, he decided, I'm just not going to show it in India, so no big deal, because he wasn't willing to comply with India's laws, so he just chose not to release his movie there.
Wasn't that like just a few?
Not just like last
Yeah,
month.
yeah. So that was just a while ago.
So there are countries that have done more policy on a global, national level than we're able to do, unfortunately. But we still keep trying. Kids like
Yeah.
big money, 107 million, like Genine said, even in our state alone. We don't have that kind of money sitting at the health department. We just can't even compete. So those Operation Storefront cards that I was talking about, that's how we do our counter marketing, is we get that information, we pull it together, and then individuals can take the information that you learn from your own individual zip codes and take that and present it to your council person that represents your area and let them know. I don't appreciate this in my community because it's impacting my kids. It's impacting the youth. In our community, we have 10 stores right across the street from schools. In this community, there aren't any.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the kind of proactive steps that we can take.
Okay.
We had another announcement that, here you
Hold
go,
on.
Ms. Genine.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If you guys could keep your seats just for a few minutes, we're gonna get ready for lunch. And I think so that we won't have long lines down the hall. We're gonna take a table at a time, okay? But before we do that, I have a couple of announcements. The first one is the young lady that spoke on syphilis, Brandy Roberts, left her card because there were a lot of questions. And if you want a card, I have them over here, okay? Then those of you that got the fax back referral forms, would you give them to me either just before lunch or after lunch? Okay? So if you need to do anything differently to the forms, we can go ahead and get that done. The next thing is the National Black Nurses Association Preventive Health Action Team would like 15 people. So if you'll see me, I need 15 people to take a survey for them, and they're going to have a drawing, probably right, well, after you turn these in, maybe before we dismiss today. They're going to have a drawing for a Walmart gift card, 2 drawings for the 15 people that fill this out completely and turn it in, okay? So if you want to be one of the 15, see me. And Ms. Cheryl Martin, who's president of the Little Rock Black Nurses Association, is coordinating this. You want to?
And actually, it's actually one card, one gift card. It's 2 gift cards, but it's a total of $20. So we're giving 1 gift card for $20.
Okay.
And then she said that it's a grant that we received from the National Black Nurses. So it's some information that we need you guys. So you have to completely fill it out before we actually take it up, and then we'll actually do a drawing.
Okay. Okay. And if you'll give me another minute, I just want to, in case some of you aren't here in the afternoon once we leave, I really want to acknowledge those individuals and our partners that worked so diligently to make this a success. Of course, Better Community Development for the facilities, the Minority Initiative Subrecipient Grant Office out of UAPB, Dr. Marion Evans Lee, would you stand? And Ms. Ruthie Johnson, would you stand? The Arkansas Department of Health, and Ms. Brandy Roberts is already gone, but she made the syphilis presentation. I'd like to appreciate her. Then our symposium partners, the Arkansas Human Development Corporation, Sue Espinoza, would you stand? Our members from the Little Rock Black Nurses Association of Arkansas, we have representatives. Would you all stand? Then the Retired Senior Volunteer Program of Central Arkansas, RSVP, and I think they're all outside because they were in charge of registration. JCCSI Civil, would you stand, and your representatives? The Living Affected, Deidre, would you and your team stand, please? And we have members, Ashley, will you and your team stand from Better Community Development, please? Part of the solution, Dwayne, where are you? Dwayne, thank you. Center for Healing Hearts and Spirit, Joyce, would you stand? And the Asian Pacific Coalition for a Smoke-Free Arkansas, Wilma, would you stand? They turned the lights off on Wilma. Okay. And I did have some members of my board of directors here. They may have, this morning I had several members of the board of directors of Future Builders, and I don't see any of them now. But if any of my board members are still here, okay, I didn't think I saw any of them. Okay, then of course, I want to acknowledge the program moderator, of course, Miss Debbie Rushing. And then our HIV testing coordination was done by Sybil and her team. Dietrich Smith with the Arkansas Department of Health. Dietrich? Is Dietrich still here? Courtney Hampton? They're all testing. And remember, you can take your HIV test during lunchtime, okay? And then the planning committee. I cannot, I can't overlook the planning committee. If I call your name, would you stand? I know Madeline Carter was here this morning. She's not here now. Yvonne Sims, Joyce Rayner, wave your hand or stand. Catherine Donald, Courtney Hampton, Ruthie Johnson, Kenneth Wade, Ashley, still here. Bruce Lockett, where's Bruce? Okay. Sandra Mitchell, Sandra in the back. Cynthia Wilborn, Cynthia, are you here? Okay. Sue is still here. Denise Grace, Debbie Rushing, Dietrich Smith, she's with testing. Dr. Marion Evans Lee, Sybil, Daniel, of course myself. I'm thinking about people that are still here. Walter, raise your hand. Dr. Patel, okay. Cheryl Martin, Dwayne, Wilma, Giselle. Is Giselle in? Okay, there's Giselle. Okay, Dr. Wheeler, and he'll be here. He's part of the panel. Dr. Odesidera, Deborah Bell, and I don't think Deborah, I think she's coordinating lunch. Do I see somebody with a plate? I better hurry. Deidre Levi, Karen Swinton, are you here? Okay, and there's Karen. And I skipped over some names because I didn't want to take too long. So if I missed your name, I do have a list of everybody here. Of course, our continuing education coordinators were Miss Ruthie Johnson, Miss Ruthie, and Yvonne Sims. And you guys get with them at the end of the day. They are coordinating the continuing education units. Okay, the evaluation team is Joyce Rayner and Wilma Houston. So they will be collecting the evaluations at the end of the day. And you guys, please fill those out after each presentation. And if there was a presentation that we didn't do, because we did have a young lady that did not come, but we moved right along, so you probably didn't even notice it. But if you it was a no-show. So just kind of X them out, okay? The registration was Denise Grace, Lisa Strain, Madeline Carter. We have some nice young ladies out there. We're calling them the Golden Girls. Miss Gloria Hoyt, Miss Julia Count, and Miss Bertha DeBerry. And Sheila Finn, would you raise your hand? Was on our committee for coordinating this. So everybody, we want you to know that we appreciate you being here, and we're going to ask Matt to come up right now. He's going to make an announcement about a survey. Who's Matt? I said Matt. We do call him Matt. We call him Matt. That's all I know. Okay. Come on, Matt. So we're going to ask Matt to come up. And then whenever he's done and everything, you guys, please, let's just take a table at a time, give your lunch and come back, and you'll go out that door, and you'll go around and come through the end door. You'll be served, and you can come back in, okay? All right. Thank you very much. And don't forget this fax back form. I really need that back.
I saw a lot of hands go up for that fax back.
I know. I've gotten some of them back, but not all of them. All right, ma'am.
Did they all get passed down?
I'm not sure.
Okay, what I was going to talk to you about is we've got with the health department and the tobacco prevention and cessation program, and we have a survey for the LGBT and queer health initiative. It's one you can do with a smartphone. It's got a QR code on it, and Debbie's passing out these cards where you can use your smartphone. I also have 2 laptops with the survey pulled up. If you'd like to take the survey, we'd love to have you do that for us today. So if you need to use a laptop, just let me know, and I'll get you set up on that. So that's all I need. That's it.
Okay. Instructions. Okay. You know what? Okay, we're going to ask Minister Ward if she will bless the food for us, and then we're going to start with table 1. And as you see table 1 coming back with their food, then table 2. And then table 3. Can we do that? Okay.
All right. Most holy God, we boldly come before the throne of mercy and we just say, Abba, Father. We just want to thank you for that you are filled with compassion. We thank you for this day, for every person that has come on this day to be a part of acknowledging the pain that your people feel. We thank you and work toward a solution. Lord, we thank you for this food that we are about to receive for the nursing of our bodies. In Christ's sake, amen. Amen.
Okay. Table 1. Thank you.